You know the rule. When you go to ArtScroll.com, make sure to use promo code radio. That's the rule. When you go to ArtScroll.com, you want major savings and free shipping on any amount, you make sure to use promo code radio. Why would you go to ArtScroll.com today? Because Rabbi Binyomin Pruzansky's got a brand new book, the Jaffa Family Edition of Stories That Inspire Greatness. And I will tell you that the book, which has a million great stories, by the way, a million great stories, but in my opinion, and we'll discuss this with Rabbi Pruzansky, in my opinion, the lessons that the stories teach about seeing Hashgacha, connecting to Hashem, about how so many what seemingly are small episodes can be such a boost when it comes to realizing one's potential. And those are some of the things I gained from the book. Rabbi Binyomin Pruzansky, a pleasure to welcome you to JM in the AM.
Thank you, Reb Nachum. Wow, it's amazing to be here with you.
I appreciate that. And really, the last thing I said is the one that I think is the most, I don't know, the most telling, the most important, certainly for me, what I gained the most from the book. And that is that, boy, sometimes we just need to realize that we've got potential. Sometimes we need to realize that our self-worth is a lot more valuable than we think, or should be more valuable and viewed that way than we think. And I don't know. I guess it's the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal of all these stories is to really boost our self-confidence, get us to be closer to the one above, and realize our potential, right?
That's what we're here for, you know. Life gets busy sometimes. all the noise out there, all the distractions, and really, we have an opportunity every day to find our inner greatness. There's so much that we have ourselves. We don't have to look too far. We have to look inside our heart.
Right.
And that's really what I try to do in the book, is to bring out stories of great people. And then there's the regular, very regular people who just do great things.
There's a lot of regular stuff in this book, and I don't say that, God forbid, to be demeaning. There's a lot of, regular, everyday stuff that happens in this book. And all of those are so tied in with Hashgacha, self-confidence, and realizing one's potential. So, it's not every story's that dramatic, but just there's so much to be learned from each one.
That's right. I always tell my children that we all have stories happening to us. If we open our eyes, we're going to see it. We're going to see it everywhere. And at the Shabbos table, I always go around the table. Okay, what happened Hashgacha Prat this time? What happened to you this week? What happened? And sometimes we blow it up to make it a little more exciting, but we all have our stories. We all can write books. We got to write it on our heart sometimes, and sometimes, we write books that bring out so you could see for yourself how, hey, that could happen to me. I, too, can be great, No
question about it. In your Tefillah chapter, by the way, I think it's chapter 4, in your Tefillah chapter, you really go out of the way to show that, that all of us, again, you don't have to be a Torah giant, you can be a regular person, that all of us have the potential to actually make a difference through Tefillah. How, things we want, things we need, situations and emergencies that we're in can be altered simply by praying to the one above. And I think you'd agree, I'm sure you'd agree, because I guess that's the premise of the chapter, that most of us just don't realize that sometimes.
I think we underestimate the power that we have to daven. We think wow, the big tzaddik, he'll daven for me. I'll go to that tzaddik. I'll go to Kever Tzaddikim. And really, you have the power every day. Every day you go to daven. Why do you daven even? You daven because you're supposed to connect to Hashem 3 times a day. Like the cell phone that needs to have power, right. We got to plug it in. We got to plug into our neshama. And that's the opportunity we have. I try to bring it out, regular stories. Someone needs a shidduch for their children. What do they do? Oh, no, I have a story there. 3 girls lined up waiting for shidduch. And we all know how stressful that could be. And yet this yid goes and he davens and he reaches a point where he feels, Hashem, help me. I could do it. Please, I know you could help me. And he connects in a way that has his tefillah. He just feels like his tefillah is going to be answered, and then they are.
I think that's the most important point. I think all of us who've had some good tefillah days can relate to what you just said. In the end, you get this feeling. That you've left it all out on the field, so to speak.
And we don't always see it right away. Sometimes it could take time.
Yep.
But we got to keep trying and davening until finally I feel like, like you're doing a mitzvah, you're praying, you're trying your best. Eventually, something's going to break through Shemayim and bring you what you need most.
And by the way, and I'm not using this forum right now to discuss the validity or invalidity or any of it when it comes to the different things that people do in order to, to get to the points that we're referring to in this conversation. But so many Torah giants would say, just open up a siddur and daven. Just open, just go to Minyan and pour your heart out, and that's the best way. And don't go through all the, machinations of flying around the world or thinking you have to do something either dramatic. And I'm not minimizing.
Right. We're all flying to Karastir. We're flying there. All these different segulas that we're trying to find.
And the davening there, I'm sure, is very potent. Like, I'm sure that, one's davening.
I'm sure.
But don't forget that davening in one's local shuls also has the potential to do that.
Not to knock that. That's great. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Go to a Tzaddik's kever in Europe and touch to that Tzaddik's neshama. It's great. Well, we can't forget the everyday life that our grandmothers taught us. You daven, you say Tehillim, and that's how we connect on a daily basis,
right.
on hourly basis. You're looking for that parking spot. You get, Hashem, help me find the parking spot.
Right. And sometimes it works. Depends what neighborhood you're in. Right. Rabbi Binyomin Pruzansky is with us. The book is entitled Stories That Inspire Greatness. Lots of great stories in here, folks. Lots of great stories. And by the way, Rabbi Pruzansky, one of the things I really enjoyed about the book is that, you talk about fulfilling one's potential and the infinite self-worth that one has that we only realize once we, get in tune with some of these episodes that have happened. And of course, we talked about tefillah, and you have a chapter on Torah study and how important that is. And Emunah obviously is a big part of it. But you also add in, or I should say include, the importance of acts of chesed, of understanding and feeling the real feel of a unified Klal Yisrael, real Avas Yisrael, so to speak. And a lot of people may not put those items at the same level of tefillah, emunah, Torah study, etc. And to me, it seems in this book that you do. Tell me about the chesed and unity of Klal Yisrael that is so important in this mission.
I think that's part of the fabric of our lives, and we've learned that over the last couple of years with what's going on in Eretz Yisrael, and especially right now, we feel Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael, and how we have to forget about our differences and realize we're all part of Hashem's purpose of this world, what he put us here for, to unite, to feel like brothers, Achenu. We're all brothers, Banim Atem LaHashem. And when we play our part, and we recognize that, just like there's been Odom L'Mokim, and I have to daven, and I have to have Emunah B'Tachin, I have to love my friend. I have to be there for him. I have to look for opportunities, because when you love your friend, you're showing how much you really love Hashem.
Right, 100%. Do you remember the story you wrote about? The reason I say it like that is once I wrote my book, I realized how little I remembered because I had written it so many months before. So that's why I always now start with authors by saying, do you remember when you wrote the story about the miracle in Skops? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So this is the bungalow colony, and after someone has actually closed up their bungalow, requests that they go ahead and, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, you're right.
And what happens? Tell me about the story.
Yeah, so it's seemingly like a very simple story,
right.
So
exactly.
There was a caterer in Lakewood. He was doing a job out in the mountains in Skops. We all know where Skops and Fallsburg, and he needed a place to stay somewhere in that area. And he asked a friend of his, "Can I go to your bungalow? Do you have a space for me?" He said, Now, he had already closed up his bungalow.
Right.
He's done for the season. He went back home. He had his family simcha, and it would take him reopening the electric and the water and everything. And instead of saying, "No, I'm sorry," he said, "Yes." He said, "Yes." Magical words, Reb Nachum. Magical words. He said, "Yes. I can. Yes, I could do it."
When it comes to chesed, they are a magical word.
And he let him stay, and his family came, and they came on a Friday, a hectic Friday afternoon. You know how it is getting up to the mountains, to the Catskills on a Friday. It's not easy. Finally he gets there, and then his son, said, hey, can I hop around and go swimming for a few minutes before Shabbos? And he said, sure. His mother said, sure, go. And he runs to the pool, and there's no one in the pool area because it's almost Shabbos. And as he goes in and he's stepping into the pool, all of a sudden he feels something by his foot. He looks down, to his horror, there's a child submerged in the water.
Right.
He's like, oh my gosh. He pulls him out, and the child's unconscious. And pulling them, they start calling, help, Hatzolah. And there was a paramedic that happened to be in a bungalow nearby, heard the calls for Hatzolah, for help. He came, he started CPR. They helicoptered in Hatzolah got a helicopter to take this child, a 4-year-old child, rushed him to the hospital, saving his life. Amazingly enough, he was able to come out maybe a day or two later, come back to Scops. They rejoiced and they sang. And it all started from a yes.
Because of
yes, I can. Yes, I can help you.
Because
it led to
because if you would have said no, the 13-year-old obviously would not have been there to go swimming.
That's right.
It's unbelievable.
Right. We don't even know what we do when we say yes.
That's what's so, and you're right that it's not that, it's not that dramatic a story as it develops. Obviously, the drama does, enter into it, obviously. But it's like, it's a simple thing. And obviously, we always wonder, is it going to create good karma for us? Are we going to have, something beneficial for us? We do say yes to a chesed, and we don't always see it immediately. Here, my gosh, they see it immediately. It's unbelievable.
Right. It's just about the power of being positive,
right,
of being a happy person. Hashem wants to see us be happy and thankful, and along with that comes blessings we don't even see. We don't even see the blessings come along with that.
You know what this reminded me of, by the way? Crazy that this is what it reminded me of. And this has happened. This has happened in major Jewish communities over the years. We always get these stories where a company that, has frozen food, for instance, right? And you can imagine how many, hundreds of thousands of dollars of frozen food they keep in their warehouse, and there's a power outage. And they'll call their competitors, their colleagues, and say, can you help me out? And sure enough, in many, many cases, it just happened recently, in many cases, the colleagues will take all the stuff and put it in their store or put it in their warehouse. And,
That's right.
And
there's one famous one, I believe, with one of the ice cream
correct.
companies. There was a blackout.
Correct.
And then he's like, oh, no, our freezers are going. What are we going to do? All the ice is going to melt. And then the competitor came in and said, hey, I'm here for you.
And by the way, it's not just that, we wonder if saying yes is going to, benefit us down the road. But on top of that, you're helping your competition. So you're like, wonder. And people do it because they know that only good will come from something like that.
That's right, because in the end of the day, it's not about competition. It's about the blessing that comes, the brachas that come to your life when you help someone. And your brother, you might call competition. I don't think it's competition. I think it's someone in business, and Hashem has enough money in his bank account to help every yid. And once you realize that, you're ready to help anyone.
100%. And it's really again, I think people do realize that it just takes time sometimes to understand just how powerful what they did actually was. And it's such an important part of all of this. Right? Binyomin Pruzansky is with us. The book is entitled Stories That Inspire Greatness, available now at ArtScroll.com. Make sure to use promo code Radio. Rabbi Pruzansky has 1 million books. So you can check his, literally search his name at ArtScroll, and you'll see just how many there are. Stories That Inspire Greatness is the latest one. And before I let you go, we got to do a word on the whole self-worth thing. We sometimes just don't realize, I don't know, how great we are, how much influence we have, especially sometimes in the way the one above operates the world. Like, how would you put it, Rabbi Pruzansky? What is it that we're not realizing that doesn't give us the level of confidence or the level of self-worth that we really need?
I think we live in a generation where everyone's putting your names in lights, at least trying, and then if you don't see that with yourself, somehow you think,
right,
perhaps, I don't have that self-worth. I'm not out there. I'm not on the front page of the newspaper, I'm not the one giving $1 million, and so who am I? And it's so important, and I'm not the world's Talmud Chacham. I don't learn so well, but when we discover the greatness in ourselves, there's no greater feeling than that. And that's really what Hashem wants us to do. We have a holy neshama Hashem gave us with greatness built inside of us. And when we tap into that, we recognize it. But sometimes we can forget. It's easy to forget. And I try to bring out in this story, in this book, and to actually the first chapters, because I felt it was so important. I want you to feel and I want you to realize your self-worth. And when you realize that, that's when you start to realize how everyone around you is great, how life is great, how every person you meet has greatness in them.
And you have a story, by the way, on page 52 entitled Against All Odds that I bet has happened to more people listening right now than we would ever think. And that was the diagnosis where the doctor says, in my opinion, I've determined there's nothing to be done for your son. In a normal school setting, he's hopeless. He'll amount to nothing, etc., etc. And then, of course, it's that young man that turns out to be whatever it is, whether a great Talmud Chacham, a great philanthropist, or in some cases both, because in this story, the gentleman really did have, success in both areas. So how many times has that happened? And of course, you can imagine what it would do to the self-worth of a child who would read that report, and then they go ahead and become great
That's
successes.
Right. That particular story is someone was making his 60th birthday, and he was making Sima Shas as well, and he wanted something special, and the children said, what can we gift you, Dad? What can we give to you? And he said, there was once a report when I was a child. I was a mischievous child, and there was a report that a doctor once did on me because they wanted to throw me out of yeshiva, and they felt there was something wrong with me. And I had this meeting with the doctor, and afterwards, my dad was offered a job in Chicago. We ended up moving out of town, and we never got that report. Can you find that report? And they find the report. They dug it up somehow from many years ago, and it wrote exactly this: this child, nothing will become of him.
They actually used the word hopeless in it.
This child is nothing. Nothing's going to happen. And he said, had I seen that report years ago, I would have given up. Yep. But I never saw that report. Hashem hid it from me, and here I am making a Sima Shas. I'm a successful businessman. I have a beautiful family.
Yep.
Thank you, Hashem, for believing in me. And that's what it's all about. A teacher can say something. A friend who was not such a friend might say something that's hurtful. But believe in yourself. Realize Hashem loves you. He believes in you more than anyone.
And how do we know? That Hashem,
you're alive.
That's number one. That's number one. But even when it came to Moshe Rabbeinu, where he himself had self-doubt if he could do something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that he could do it. And if it was good enough for Moshe Rabbeinu, it should be good enough for all of us. Understanding that God believes in us the way we unfortunately very often never believe in ourselves. Rabbi Pruzansky, very inspiring book. I mean, whether summer was coming up or not, I would tell people to get it and to enjoy it, because it's great. It's a great read with a lot of lessons. And like I said, in the 10 chapters, I think it's 10, you just cover so many different areas in terms of how all of us can become great or greater, and it's much appreciated. So big yasher koach and mazel tov on the book.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure. And
appreciate that very much.
I think that's my goal, is we should inspire ourselves and then inspire those around us to be as great as they can be.
100%. So many of these stories show us that we actually can. And sometimes it shows us that we have and just sometimes don't realize it. Stories that inspire greatness, right? Binyomin Pruzansky, appreciate his visit via telephone with us this morning here at JM in the AM. Go to ArtScroll.com. Make sure to use promo code radio. Rabbi Pruzansky, thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations on the book.
Thank you, Nachum. Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. More coming up. You're listening to JM in the AM.